Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys so much for coming. David, would you mind just? I'm digging the music, but we didn't set up a mic for today because they told me I was loud enough to pull this off. So if you can't hear me in the back, let me know. I want to thank you guys so much for coming to the RaiseUp Washington campaign kickoff event. We're super excited to have you all here today. RaiseUp Washington is a coalition of labor organizations, faith-based groups, and community partners, all working to raise the statewide minimum wage and pass safe and sick leave. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Jeff Johnson, who's the president of the Washington State Labor Council, to kick us off. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, April. What an incredible job April does. She's our field director for the Washington State Labor Council. Hey, good morning. And let's do it again. Good morning. Good morning. All right. What a day to make a difference, right? Hey, look, hey, I want to thank you, first off, for getting up so early and coming down here. I know there are many other things you could have done. You could have just rolled over and slept for another couple hours, right? You could have sauntered down to Victrola or Cafe Vita, gotten your favorite coffee drink, right? You know, Speaker Frank Chopp, he could have stayed down in Olympia and arm wrestled Mark Schessler to the ground, right? Right? And so, by the way, Speaker Frank Chopp is here. Frank, would you stand up there? Yeah. And Frank has been, he's been one of our best legislative advocates for minimum wage forever and ever. And it's his daughter, Ellie? Yeah, Ellie? All right. Thank you for coming. I also want to thank you for caring enough to come out and make a difference in over 1 million workers' lives. All right? This is really, really, truly important. Unions, workers, unions, communities of color, we've been under attack, a sustained, planned attack for a long time by the extreme right, by corporate America. And what we've seen, what that's shown up as is falling wages, attacks on our collective bargaining rights, attacks on voting rights, and many other things. But you know what? This is not unusual. 100 years ago today, right, we had a similar right-wing attack on progressive policies, attack on wages. In fact, Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis at the time, as he was commenting on the current state of affairs, said this. He said, you know, America can either have great concentrations of wealth or America can have democracy, but it can't have both. Today, we have obscene concentration of wealth and extreme and obscene inequality, and we have a vicious attack on our democracy. But Initiative 1433 is just one small piece in reversing those trends. Every signature you collect today for 1433 moves us towards qualifying for the ballot in November. Every signature you collect today for 1433, right, is going to increase the wages for 750,000 workers in the state of Washington, helping them take back a share of the wealth that they create. Every signature you collect today on 1433 is going to give over 1 million workers the opportunity to make the decision themselves on when to stay home to take care of themselves when they're sick or to stay home to take care of their kids, putting some democracy back in the workplace, right? Every candidate that embraces the values in 1433 and runs on minimum wage and paid sick days, they're going to win this November at the polls, and they're going to strengthen our working majority in the House for Speaker Chopp. They're going to strengthen the majority in the Senate for Democrats, and what that's going to do is allow us to pass legislation for working people, for communities of color in Olympia, and break through this gridlock that we've been fighting through for the last 4 years. So look, today is a day, now we don't often get this chance, but today's a day where you and I can make a difference. It's the beginning of making a difference for the rest of this year. I'm so glad you're here. It's a beautiful day to make a difference. And with that, I want to turn it over to our next speaker, my good friend, ally, the Reverend Paul Benz.
Good to see you, man. All right.
Okay. I'm not getting fresh.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. How's everybody doing? I got to pin this thing on here. I can't hear you. How's everybody doing? We got State Senator Cyrus Habib here this morning, besides Speaker Chop and his wonderful daughter. We've got candidate Naomi Macri in the 43rd, another candidate in the 43rd, Marcus Courtney. Give it up for Marcus. We've got a mayor here from the great city of Shoreline, Chris Roberts. All right. And we've got Jackson Ravens here. Yeah, come on. All right. It's really good to be here this morning. So Faith Action Network, we're a statewide interfaith advocacy organization that is always trying to mobilize our people from Port Angeles to Walla Walla to Spokane to make the kind of changes we all want to see in our state. Right? Come on, give it up for Faith. Come on. Our co-director, Elise DeGuru, is here this morning. We're in this. Steve Claggett is one of our key folks that's videotaping. He's going to be involved in the field team and gathering the signatures along with all of you. So, 1443, Raise Up Washington. It's about raising people up, right? Raising people up to give them the means by which they can better take care of their families, their kids, and that's going to have a ripple effect. A ripple effect to make our state healthier in terms of the economy, healthier in terms of public health with the sick and safe leave in it. There's a lot of good things about this. Lastly, what is this about to me as a person of faith, as a resident of this state? To me, it's about the great movement that's been in this state for many, many years. We can go back to 1993, right? Talk about minimum wage. When this state had the audacity, had the people power to pass an initiative. And we were the leader. Still are the leader. And this is a continuation of that. And you're a part of it. Each and every one of us is a part of building this people power movement. Are you with me? Yeah. All right. Power. Power to the people. Power to the people. I'll say power, you say power to the people. Power. 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 Power to the people. Come on, stand up, stand up. And I've got to get down to Plum Bistro. She's the owner of Plum Bistro. Please welcome, put your hands together for McKinney Powell.
So I'm McKinney Howell.
So I've been running our family business for 11 years now. And the business name is Plum Restaurants. We own 4 restaurants and a food truck, and we have a commercial kitchen. We produce a wholesale product. We employ 50 people, and we are a woman-run business. Our goal is diversity, so I consciously am aware to hire everybody, and not just by color, diversity by color, but gender, sexuality, everything. So we're consciously diverse, and we're a woman-run company. Now, I'm also a member of the Main Street Alliance, which is a coalition of more than 2,000 small business owners. And it's my pleasure to support this initiative because I had this crazy idea when I took over the business 11 years ago, to take all of the tips that came in and to raise everybody from the floor to a $15 an hour and to split the tips evenly. Because in restaurants, the servers can make about $30 an hour and the dishwasher can make $10 an hour. That's a disparity. That's a huge disparity. So what I wanted to do was to sort of bring everybody up and to split the gratuity amongst everyone. People thought I was crazy and a socialist. 11 years later, here we are. And I think that we have to understand that small business owners care deeply about their employees. And it's not just about money, so we're invested in the people that are invested in us because I couldn't do this if somebody wasn't opening the restaurant and serving brunch. So I understand the value of workers, and I understand that an idea is just an idea without people power
or what did you say? Without people power to execute the idea. And that's what I am fortunate enough to have in the team of 50 people that I'm fortunate enough to lead. So good wages also sustain a broader community, and they make it more healthy for all of us. So when we see income inequality growing and growing, we have to worry about the quality of communities where we as business owners also live. So it's really important for everyone to understand the ripple effect that shorting someone on wages has in the overall community. And we want to create a community of equality versus a pyramid where some fortunate people are on the top and the rest are on the bottom. I went way off my notes. And I'm also mindful of the research that increasing the minimum wage can help improve the economics throughout the city. Raising the minimum wage should be viewed as a benefit to all. This is especially true when the wages increase in such a way that it levels the playing field between businesses. I said that, and not in this order. And this is why I support a statewide policy. This is why I came here at the beginning of this initiative to lend my support, and I will speak out to support paid leave, paid sick leave, and raising the minimum wage on a statewide level, because it will actually help. And this is the first thing that puts Seattle behind the state. And I know that Seattle is viewed as this crazy liberal progressive place, but if we can pass this initiative, the state will be ahead of Seattle, and we can show the rest of the nation how to raise the minimum wage, how to care for workers, and how to create sustainable businesses that are run by women, by people of color, and by people that deserve a good wage. So in closing.
Our next speaker is our good friend Janet Chung from Legal Voice, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the paid sick and safe leave portion of 1433.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hard acts to follow, but I am here to tell you about the law. No, not really. I am here to tell you why, as a lawyer, I have been so excited to be part of this movement for the past couple of years and to help make sure that we do have good laws and policies in our state that protect all workers, and particularly in these areas that have really great importance to women workers, people of color, communities of color, and low-income workers, who are the folks who really make this state work and who lack the protections that the people in the high office towers that you see around this gleaming city, they have those. We're talking about making sure that every worker in this state has those same protections. So I have a question for you all. How many of you or someone in your household this winter has had a cold? Yeah, there's kind of a crud going around town, right? Okay, well, how about, has anybody had to take, like in the past couple of months, had to take a kid or a parent or a friend even to the doctor? Okay, this is not like some crazy thing that only a few people have to do. Everybody has this need. This is our reality, right? So do you think that taking time off for those reasons, because you're sick or your family's sick, or to take someone to the doctor, should that be a fireable offense? No, it should not. But guess what? It is. People can get fired for that. Over 1 million workers in our state could get fired just for taking time off to care for themselves or their family. That is not okay. Boo. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the safe days portion. We don't talk about that as much. What does that mean? Safe days means that we also care, and we want to make sure that folks who are subject to domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking also do not have to make that choice between their paycheck and their own safety. Did you know that estimates show that over 1 in 5 women during their lifetimes will experience sexual violence? That's pretty horrible, right? But guess what? The number one factor that can make a difference in making sure that they get safe and that they can escape their abusers successfully is, anyone know? Safe leave is a big part of that. Economic independence. How do you get economic independence? You have a job, and you get to keep that job, and you don't get fired because you do what you need to do to take care of yourself and your family. All of these things, getting safe takes time. It takes finding a shelter, moving your stuff, getting a lawyer, getting a protection order, taking your kids to the hospital if they get abused as well, right? All of those things take up time, and time that you may not have protected to take off from work. And right now in Washington, we are one of the states that is lucky to have that type of leave covered, but it's unpaid. And so what paid sick and safe days would do, and does in Seattle and 3 other cities in our state, is it protects those people too, so that you can take leave and not lose your pay, and therefore, guess what? You can keep your economic security and be successful in becoming independent. So let's keep our workers safe and healthy, all of our workers in Washington State. No one should have to choose between a paycheck and their safety or the health of themselves or their family. Are you with me? Yeah. Let's join the 20 cities and 4 states around the country and make Washington the 5th state to have paid sick and safe days for everyone. All right. So it's my pleasure to introduce next Cynthia Adams. She is a member of Teamsters 117 and a worker for King County.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Cynthia Adams, and I work, with King County Solid Waste. Thank you for your garbage. And I'm also a member of Teamsters 117 on the executive board, and I work with Dustin. Thank you. I have a contract, but not everyone has a contract. We have paid sick leaves. We have paid sick days. This is important to me and the executive board, because no one in this country, in this city, in this town, in this state, in this year should ever have to choose between going to the doctor and paying their bills. That's why I support this. Thank you. April's next.
Let's talk about the campaign overview and policy. So, thank you.
All right, let's give a hand to all of our speakers this morning. Well, Teresa and I get mic'd up, or at least I get mic'd up, right? So as you've heard from all of our speakers, there's a lot of really good reasons to support and work on raising the statewide minimum wage and passing paid safe and sick leave. And what's most exciting for me is that we are part of a movement. All of us in this room are part of a movement. I mean, we are all working to change the world, and it starts right here in Washington State. There are some days I wake up in the morning and I can't believe I have the opportunity to work on an issue like this. For me, personally and professionally, this is the most exciting thing I've had the opportunity to work on in years. Right? I'm going to let Teresa talk about the policy stuff in just a minute, but I just want to share with you, it seems like for the past, at least 7 or 8 years, we've been playing defense. Jeff talked about this earlier, how we take back our democracy. Workers have been under attack, our wages, our benefits, our working conditions. And this initiative gives us an opportunity to engage people on an issue that they can go out and they can fight for. And I could not be more excited to be in the room here today with you guys working on this initiative, 1433. But also personally, I know firsthand what it means to not have enough money to pay your bills because wages are low. I was raised by a single mom who struggled to put food on the table and pay the rent every month. She often worked 2 jobs because one minimum wage job wouldn't pay the bills. And I know what it means when you don't have paid sick leave and you don't make enough money to pay your bills because your kids got sick. Our family went on welfare because my mom couldn't pay the rent because she missed 6 days of work because we were all sick. And so this initiative changes lives. For more than 1 million workers in our state that don't have access to paid safe and sick leave, this initiative changes things. And our work today is going to make a difference. And it feels good to be part of something that's going to make a difference, right? So I want to share with you some of the policy pieces that Teresa and the rest of the steering committee worked so hard to put together. Our initiative increases the statewide minimum wage to $13.50 phased in over 4 years. It also allows workers to earn 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 40 hours they work. And for a full-time worker, that's about 7 days a year. And it also gives workers the opportunity to roll 40 hours over into the next year. That's huge, right? And whether you're working full-time or part-time, you still have the opportunity to earn paid safe and sick leave, because a lot of our minimum wage and low-wage workers work more than 1 job, and they have a hard time finding full-time employment. So this is a benefit for both full-time and part-time workers. I'm also really excited, right? I'm digging the energy. I'm also really excited to share with you that there are no carve-outs in this initiative. There's no, right? There's no tip credit, there's no training wage, there's no teenage wage, and there's no preemption, which means there's nothing in this initiative that keeps other municipalities from raising their minimum wage over and above that $13.50 or offering a more generous safe and sick leave policy. Right? That is huge. That is huge. And I don't know, Teresa, do you want to chime in on any of the other exciting things in our initiative, or do you think I covered that?
I think you got that.
All right, all right. And I should introduce Teresa Mosqueda. She's our our political and strategic campaigns director. And her and I have been working on this over the last couple of months. So,
I'm going to chime in on a little bit about kind of how we got to this point.
yes,
All
please
right.
do.
So, how many of you guys worked on the CTAC campaign? How many of you guys worked on the Seattle campaign, Fight for 15? How many of you have been with us over the last 3 and 4 years as we fought for sick and safe leave in Olympia? How many of you have been with us as we fought for a minimum wage increase in Olympia? This movement did not start overnight. This builds on the successes that you guys helped create, the wins that you've already accomplished, the communities that you've already brought together, the small business owners who stood up and said, I want to invest in my workers. I want to invest in my community. And the best way to do that is to take care of not only my workers, but their families, and to grow the economy together so we can raise up Washington. Now, we have champions in Olympia who've been fighting for us. You heard Speaker Chop is here. He has been with us, been pushing for sick and safe leave, been pushing for minimum wage. We have passed those bills out of the House, and then what happened? They died in the Republican-controlled Senate. We have champions like Cyrus Habib who are here with us, Senator Habib, who have fought the good fight, who have said we need to raise the wages and provide paid sick leave so people don't have to lose their job if they're sick or if their kiddos are sick. People who have said we can't have another day where somebody is attacked by domestic violence or by a stalker or worse and have to go to work and fear that their attacker is going to come there. And what happened to the bills? They died. They didn't move forward. But you know what? While the Republican-controlled Senate may have stopped these good pieces of legislation, we know that the voters are with us. We asked them, do you want to raise the minimum wage? Do you want paid sick and safe leave? What do they say?
Yeah.
They said yes at 70%. We asked the voters. The voters said they want it. We are going to take it to the voters. We think we can win in November, but we need you to do that. That's why April's here kicking off this campaign. We need to get those signatures so we can qualify for the ballot, and we are going to win this November. We're not going to let another year pass. We are going to get this policy passed this year, and this is just the beginning, right? You started in CTAC. You started in Seattle. It's going across the nation. We're going to win this year in Washington State as a whole, and then we're going to take on the next fight, because this is about raising up Washington, addressing income inequality, and making us all whole. Let's hear it for April. She's going to get us.
All right. So we're growing a movement, and this initiative is how we do that. Now, we need 250,000 valid signatures by the end of June in order to qualify for the ballot. And I'm going to share this with you, even though our consultants tell me I'm not supposed to. Don't kill me. 250,000 valid signatures is what we need in order to qualify. But we know that we need to oversample that, right? We have to be prepared for maybe duplicate signatures, or folks who maybe aren't registered to vote. They think they are, but they're not. Or a signature that the Secretary of State can't read. Or folks from out of state that are so excited about this initiative they can't help themselves, and they're going to sign the petition anyway. So our real goal is 330,000 signatures so that we can oversample and we make sure that we can qualify for the ballot. Now the math on that, this is the beginning of March. We have until the end of June. That's 18 weeks. 18 weeks, 330,000 signatures is 18,700 signatures a week. That's what we need to bring in every week in order to qualify for the ballot by the end of June. It's a lot of work, right? Oh, I know it is, right? But we can do it. You know why? Because we're not working on this issue alone. All of us in the room today are here because we want to learn how to go out and gather signatures, and there are volunteers all over the state, in Spokane, in Yakima, in Vancouver, in Walla Walla, in Bellingham, in Tacoma, and they're all out signature gathering this weekend because they're all as fired up and as excited about this initiative as we are. But the first step to making change is to make sure we get the signatures we need to qualify for the ballot. And so in addition to our kickoff today, we're also leading a training on how you can be really successful, some of the best tips and techniques for engaging folks and collecting signatures at public signature gathering locations with your families and your friends and at other small local events. So we've got our campaign team here. Campaign team, come on up. This is our hard-working RaiseUp Washington staff. Yes, you too, John. Yes, you too. Yes, you too. So this is John Grant. He's our outreach director. Samantha Grad, she's our field director. Kate Burnett, she's our organizer. And Sarah Tucker, she's our operations manager. She keeps us all moving in the right direction. So the team here is going to lead you in a training on some of the best tips and techniques for signature gathering.
Just real quick, since we want to welcome the press as well, and before we get into maybe the nitty-gritty, if you guys want to stay up there, I don't know if our great speakers want to come up with you, if there's any questions.
Oh, yes, please. I didn't realize we had press. How's my hair look?
And then also, I think just because you guys were so awesome, we should do one more round of applause.
All right.
We're super busy on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You got to get out of here.
No, people can come and go.
We're out.
To the business owner, you said that you've already been doing this. What have been the pros and cons for your business since you had the $15 minimum wage?
We have almost zero turnover.
Woo!
Yeah. It's amazing. And we kept our kitchen, and it's hard to keep the kitchen staff, we kept our kitchen staff stable.
Wow. Wow. Other questions? Yes.
There's some reports, and I don't know if it's BS or not, that there's some loss of jobs in the restaurant industry because of the Seattle minimum wage. Is that true or not? Is it increasing jobs other places? Would people question that? What's going on there?
Right, that's a great question. And Jeff, did you want to?
So every time we raise the state minimum wage in Washington State, employment has actually gone up, and in the hospitality industry more than others. And same thing in Tacoma and in Seattle. So, not true.
I'll also just give a little shout out to the Budget and Policy Center, who did some amazing fact sheets for you all, which you're going to have in your hip pocket so you feel armed and ready to answer some of these questions. They say that a study released in 2009 mapped out findings from 64 studies that between 72 and 2007. And guess what they found? No changes in employment following a minimum wage increase. Meaning people kept their jobs, wages went up, they had more money to spend in local economies. What did that do? It raised up the community.
Awesome. Other questions?
You may want to talk to them individually after.
Oh, okay.
Jessica.
You mentioned that a bunch of other states already have this sick and safe leave. What other states have that?
Jersey, California.
Vermont. I think Teresa has them all listed somewhere. No?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But definitely there's a bunch all over the country. Oregon, Oregon, Connecticut, Vermont, and Massachusetts are the states. California has cities all over. California, Pennsylvania.
5 states and 20 cities.
Oregon is the most recent. It just went into effect on January 1st of this year.
If you're asking, isn't Washington State a high wage earning state? You know what? We are no longer the highest minimum wage earning state. They're now 8 states above us, right? And so we got to make sure that we have a wage that reflects the high cost of living here, and that we're taking care of our most low-income workers so they can take care of their families. We can get you all those questions, but you're going to be well prepared because of this awesome team.
Yeah, and the frequently asked questions will be in your packets today as well. Other questions? Yes.
What is the average income and wage compared to the average cost of living in Seattle?
The average income and wage compared to the average cost of living in Seattle.
I do know something. I need you to answer that question. So, what we do know in Seattle, for example, if you want to raise a family of 3, you need $25 an hour. If you want to raise that same family in Yakima, you need $19 an hour. If you want to raise a family in Clark County, you need $21 an hour. So what is this minimum wage increase going to do? It's going to raise the base up to provide a little bit more money in pockets, to put food on kitchen tables, to provide roofs over your head, so that we can say that we're getting closer to providing the basic necessities that families need. But is this a living wage ordinance? No. I wish it was. But it's clearly a minimum wage ordinance because we are raising the base up. And we can get you all those statistics as well. But the minimum wage currently at $9.47 is a poverty wage. So we got to lift that wage up so that we are at least helping those lowest income families to survive at the very lowest incomes.
All right, so with that, I think we're going to kick off our signature gathering training, and I'm going to pass. All right, hey everyone, I'm just going to go through some of the legal, quick to-do things. So you will all have petitions like this. On the back is the full text of the initiative. Should you get someone who really desperately wants to read it or you want to look it over, it is there. One important thing on the back, there's a gatherer's declaration. Please fill this out. This is help in the event that there is any sort of fraud or anything like that. The Secretary of State has an easy way to track it. And it's also an easy way for us to keep track of you guys in terms of who's kicking butt out there and getting a lot. And if you're in an organization, there's a line for organizations. We can make sure that your organization is getting credit for any signatures that you gather. When you are gathering, it needs to be in pen. Pencil will not count, preferably black. That is the easiest. But if someone signs in purple, don't cross it out. There's still a very high likelihood that it will count. There's instructions right here for print, signature. Make sure you ask them to sign with their registered address. Even if they've recently moved, have them write wherever they're still registered to vote, because that is what the Secretary of State will compare to. They need to do city, county, or zip and county. It needs to be in the boxes. Try and keep them as much as possible in the boxes. We can't add additional lines. They will not count. And in fact, if you write at all down here, there's a risk that it will invalidate the entire sheet. So please do not do that. Try and avoid P.O. boxes. If someone writes a P.O. box, don't cross it out. Again, luckily we have a very generous Secretary of State who does do their best job to try and validate signatures instead of looking for reasons to invalidate them. So don't cross anything out and they will look through. But that is kind of the nitty-gritty in terms of the legal stuff. Does anyone have any questions about legal things? Yeah.
If somebody writes a P.O. box and you see it, would you ask them to correct it?
I would probably have them write another line down and just start over, and then we'll cross that out.
Yeah, and you can have, Catherine Bragg and I work on the signature gathering part. You can have them, if they put the P.O. box, you could ask them if they actually have, a street address where they're actually registered to vote. But if they leave the P.O. box, if the Secretary of State's office can find it, it'll still count.
Yeah.
So just whatever you do, if there's any question, don't cross it off. I've seen some people cross off P.O. boxes when they were valid signatures.
Yeah.
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 Not to arm wrestle anyone over a
Yeah.
If someone writes a signature in the first box instead of printing, and then they print in the next box where the signature goes.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Try and get them as much as possible to print and then sign, but if someone does it, don't cross it out because there's still a very high chance that it will count. Other questions? That was easy. All right.
My name is Kate. I'm the organizer for the campaign, and I'm going to do our first part of the training. Super easy. It's 3 things: be prepared, be quick, be friendly. So everybody on their seat got a volunteer card. When you fill that out, you're going to leave our office. You're going to take a packet with you. In that packet has everything you need to be prepared. It has 4 of these clipboards. It has a poster. It has some helpful reminders and a helpful FAQ. It also has 5 pens, because you never want to be out there without a pen. So do not leave your house to go signature gather without your materials. The next step, be quick. This is a numbers game. I know we have many organizers in the room. It is very hard because it goes against your very being to let somebody walk away without convincing them to sign, but it truly is a numbers game. So we really encourage you, and we'll practice this in our next step. We train you how to talk to people to make sure you get the fastest number of signatures per hour. If you're doing it right, you should be getting 25 an hour. That's helping us hit our goal. 18,700 a week? Yeah. And everybody in this room is helping us get 50 signatures per person this weekend so that we can start our campaign strong. April and John are going to go over all the practice for how you exactly to be quick, but just remember that you do not want to get caught up talking to anybody too long because you want to get as many signatures per hour as possible. And the last step is be friendly. We call this the Teflon smile. You just grin. Everything washes over you. Nothing can faze you. One person is rude to you, you just turn away and move to the next person. And we always want to be polite. We always want to be friendly. I don't want anybody going back to their house and saying, you know, those RaiseUp Washington volunteers, I really didn't like talking to them, or they were really rude. We don't want any of that. So even if somebody disagrees with you, again, sometimes it goes, I see some face in the audience, I know it goes against your being. You want to pick a fight, don't. Be polite, be friendly, and April and John are going to tell you exactly how to do that.
All right. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Okay, so when you're out doing your public signature gathering, you've got all your materials. I think I'm good. You've got all your materials. You're ready to go. There are 5 people that you're likely to encounter on any given day. The first type is the dream signer. This is a Washington state voter. They're friendly. They're to the point. They walk up, they sign, they move on. It might look something like this.
Hi, would you like to sign the minimum wage petition?
I would like nothing better.
Oh, wonderful.
Now, the next type of person that you're likely to encounter is the rational skeptic. This is the educated voter. They want to know a little bit more about the initiative. What you want to do is quickly answer his or her questions. They'll sign and they'll move on. And it might look something like this.
Hi, would you like to raise the minimum wage and sign the petition?
I'm not sure. Could you tell me a little bit more?
So this is a petition to raise the minimum wage. Just take a look there and sign there.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
See how he did that? Now there's science behind having multiple clipboards, right? Because you can put the clipboard in the voter's hand, they've got it, and now you can go on and you can engage someone else. So there's a reason, there's a whole science behind this that Catherine has put together. It's brilliant. Now the third type of person that you're likely to encounter is the argumentative jerk. Raise your hand if you have encountered one of these once or twice in your lifetime. What'd you say?
I've even been.
Oh, I love that. I love that. This is the person that wants to engage you and get you fired up. They're really the easiest type of personality to deal with because you can just easily move on. But an argumentative jerk might look something like this.
Hi, would you like to raise the minimum wage and sign this petition?
Like how I'm signing this crap.
Thank you very much. I got to go over here.
Super easy, super easy. You can shut them down in a matter of seconds. Thank you very much, and you just move on. Because like Kate mentioned, this is a numbers game, right? Our goal, all of us this weekend, our goal is 50 signatures at one of these shifts this weekend. And if you get caught up with an argumentative jerk, you might not hit your goal. So they're real easy. It's hard for me because I love this initiative. And I can't understand why everyone doesn't love this initiative. So I really have to just say, okay, thank you, and move on. The fourth type of person that you're likely to encounter is an incessant talker. Any of those in the house? This person talks and talks and talks. They're the hardest to deal with because they're really friendly, but they want to tell you all about what they've worked on and how many signatures they gathered on the last campaign. It might look something like this.
Hi, this is a petition to raise the minimum wage. We'd like to sign it.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. There was this piece on NPR. Did you hear it? My mom was telling me about this, and it was really exciting.
So there's some information here.
Oh sure, okay, all right.
Check it out.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you so much.
I've never seen you shut down like that. Well done, well done. Again, the idea is to get the petition in their hand. Once it's in their hand, they're much more likely to sign it, right? Half the work is done for you. Also, these clipboards are set up in a way
where the ballot title and the summary is on the flip side. So if somebody has a question, are you a registered voter? Oh, well, what's this about? Here, there's more information for you to read there, and then you can move on and continue collecting signatures from other registered voters. Now, the fifth type of personality that you're most likely to encounter, and this is the type that you will encounter probably more often than not, that is the aloof pedestrian. The aloof pedestrian is on their phone, they're busy, they're hungry, they're already signed, they're not registered to vote, they don't care, they've been burned by Tim Eyman one time too many, they're not interested in your petition, and they don't even want to make eye contact with you. And the aloof pedestrian might look something like this.
Hi, this is a petition to raise the minimum wage. Petition to raise the minimum wage. Watching care. Please raise the minimum wage now.
So when that happens, don't be discouraged. Again, it's a numbers game. So your success is really based on how many folks you engage with and how many of those folks actually sign your petition, not based on how many folks walk past you. So our goal is about 25 signatures in an hour or 50 signatures in a 2.5 to 3 hour shift. So if you've been at a location for 10 hours, you are dedicated. Why are we not friends if you're there for 10 hours? I will bring you coffee and treats if that happens. But if you're at a location and you've only collected 10 signatures and you've been there for about an hour, we recommend that you reread the tips that will be provided in your packet, maybe give us a call or think about going to another location.
And one more tip, when you actually have the petition in their hand, make sure to double check that they're a Washington voter and ask them. Are you a registered voter?
Yes. That's awesome. All right, so Sarah's going to come up and talk to you about all of the information that's going to be included in the packets. And what questions do you have about our signature gathering tips and techniques?
April, while Sarah's coming up, I want to introduce two other minimum wage paid sick day leaders in the room. Where did they go? Where did they go? Well, first of all, Lynn Dodson, the Secretary Treasurer of the Washington State Labor Council. Also one of our youth walkers. And then Nicole Grant, the Executive Secretary of the King Martin Luther King.
Thank you. So Sarah's going to come up and she's going to go over what information will be in the packets that all of you will receive today. And you'll notice that all across the room we have flip charted really great signature gathering locations and shifts. These are locations that are tried and true. There's Green Lake. There are great locations in Ballard and Fremont. The ferries, apparently, that's prime real estate. So if those shifts aren't taken yet, you might want to sign up for one of those early. They're going to go fast. So you will sign up for a shift, and then when we're done here today, you'll take your volunteer card, you'll turn it into the tables in the hallway, and we'll give you the packet based on what activity you're planning to do today. But Sarah's going to come up and talk to you about all of the great information that's included in the packet.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Yeah.
So, boy do I have materials for you. To start, we have two different kinds of packets. Most of y'all are going to be doing our public signature gathering. You're going to get one of these big packets. Inside, you have 4 clipboards, each with 10 petitions. You have 40 of these little flyers that you can hand to your incessant talkers or throw at your argumentative jerks. Actually, don't do that. You have the friends and family packet, which is separate. This is for folks who are going to gather amongst their friends, amongst folks at their church. You have 3 petitions inside of here, 3 of these flyers. Both packets have a handy-dandy little packet of information, important reminders on top, those tips and guidelines we went over in writing underneath, and then a blue page in the back. That's all our frequently asked questions, including statistics you can throw out on a whim, and a lot of other really important information. So, when you are done in this room, you all have volunteer cards in front of you. You'll fill those out. You'll sign up for a location of where you want to gather. You'll come see me and April's adorable children over at the tables over there. We'll hand you your applicable packet, and you can go on your way. As you can imagine, these packets take a lot of work to put together, so if you're interested in helping us do that, there's a spot on your volunteer card for office work. You want to write the word packet next to it. I see some of our packet volunteers in the crowd here today who definitely have helped out making the package you're going to take, and I'm sure they would love to have more company when they're doing that. Any questions I can answer for anyone about packet materials? Yes?
Is your office here?
It is. It's just right in that room over there.
Oh.
we allowed to collect other than these locations or right here?
Definitely, yeah. Let us know where you're going to be so we can make sure that we don't send another volunteer there and we don't have any competition, but yeah. Yes.
I have a question just about signature gathering. If an individual doesn't know if they are a registered voter, how do you respond to that?
I think what we've been telling people is that they can sign, but to not sign again until they confirm, or well, never sign again, but but that they should check to confirm. We also have voter registration cards that we can give folks. So that
in the packets?
Yeah, you can ask for them and we'll put them into your packet. So that way if you encounter, if you're going to gather in an area where there might be a large group of not registered voters, college campuses perhaps, that might be a good thing to do.
Sarah, if someone's not sure that they're registered to vote, is it a problem for them to re-register and turn in a new voter registration form?
No, I don't think so. Nope.
Okay.
And you can register to vote online now. Yeah.
Just making sure.
You can register to vote online. So something I've said to people is like if you have a smartphone and you're comfortable keeping that page up on your phone, you can hand it to folks and they can I registered my boyfriend to vote last night. It takes like 2 seconds.
Okay.
I was like, you gotta sign this. And you gotta Nice. All right, so we have one other speaker here. And then Teresa and Joe and I are going to kick you off with a little theme song before you go out to dinner. But we have Brittany Johnson. She's a member of SEIU 775. She works in Renton. And she'd just like to share her personal story with you about why this initiative is so important to her and to her family. Come on up, Brittany. Don't be shy.
Sorry, I'm a little late, but I got here. My name is Brittany Johnson, and I'm a home care provider, and I'm also a proud member of SEIU 775. So, I live in Renton, that's where I rent my apartment out, but I work in the Rainier Beach community. My day typically starts at 4 a.m. in the morning, getting my son ready with his breakfast and everything. That's not my son. His name's Daniel Wells, he's 3-year-old, he's awesome. We usually have to take 3 to 4 buses to get into town. The commute is kind of crazy. It's an early morning start every day, but it's a pleasant commute overall. I love everything about the city of Washington. When I first moved here, I lived in Skyway with my mom. I wanted to find a place in that area when I was ready to move on my own, but I couldn't because of the cost of living. My mom, she still lives in the Rainier Beach area, and she's able to work there as an agency specialist, which is awesome. The initiative 1433 would help me tremendously because I want to have a place in Washington where I can live and that everyone can live and thrive. I love Seattle and all that it has to offer. No matter where you go in Seattle, you can see the mountains. And it just reminds me of the beauty of this great state. And that's one of the reasons I want to stay here. My favorite thing about Seattle is culture richness and that we are able to celebrate so many different cultures here with all the festivals. You have the museums, you have the libraries. If you haven't checked them out, please check them out. And they also have free rooms for meetings. I'm just saying. We have our meetings. My thing about Seattle is, and one main reason, I want my son. Because, we can't just make sure that we're taken care of. We have to make sure that our generations behind us are taken care of. And I want my son to be able to be in an area where he can participate in the different richness of cultures and stuff. Like the Lace and Hughes Institute. I want him to be able to do that, participate in their plays and different activities. We can point out some of the great victories that we've already achieved as far as for Seattle and CTEC with the $15 minimum wage, but we need to achieve this for the entire state. I live in Renton. I don't have that fortunate of being in Seattle. So my paycheck is still at $12.45 an hour, which sucks because my rent, when I redid the lease because of the no cap on the rent, it went up $145. I'm a single mother of 2. And the extra $145 a month is ridiculous. Now I have to make a choice. Okay, do I keep having my own place, or do I get cut out some of my traveling, or cut out some of my special spending? Do I cut out taking my son to different places? Because We have to have a roof over our head. All right, so I'm just gonna. The Initiative 1433, RaiseUp Washington, raising the minimum wages to $13.50 over a 4-year period, and it also provides much needed sick paid leave for families and individuals. We need to support this groundbreaking initiative. As Washington grows and continues to thrive, RaiseUp Washington gives us tools to make sure that the prosperity is shared across the state and the benefits, our success and growth are shared across all incomes and communities. Now, a serious issue is that there is a disproportionate represent among those not being paid enough. Between the women that are 30% of us and over 40% of black people and Latinos that make less than $13 an hour, which includes myself. So raising the Washington minimum wage is a great start to close this economy gap, plus its racial issues. A good start. It doesn't only provide much needed wage increase, but it provides the sick leave for all Washington that is much needed because, hey, I understand when you have bills to pay, you have to go to work, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to be at work with a runny nose, fever. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to be at work if your child is sick and you need to be at home with your child, but you can't because you got bills to pay. So it's very important that we get this passed. The current minimum wage is unfair. Let's do this. Why should tons of thousands of caregivers who support senior citizens and people with disabilities live in poverty? Why should they have to have government assistance? Why should they have to be on food stamps? Why should I have to be on food stamps? Why should I have to be on Obamacare? When I'm working my tail off, I'm coming over here making sure so simple. We're trying to achieve. So, last but not least. I'm sorry, this side. Okay, so bringing it all together. This initiative is going to raise minimum wage across the state. And it's also going to give us that provided sick leave that is much needed. That's not going to just affect us, but it affects our family. Remember, we cannot just be thinking about us. We have to think about the generations behind us. We got children that's dependent on us to make sure that these initiatives and all the rest of them that we're fighting for gets passed. Thank you guys for listening.
Okay, I'm fired up. So what's our goal? What's our individual goal this weekend? How many signatures are we each going to commit to gathering this weekend? 50. Ooh, who said 100? We should be like this, right? Yes, I love that. At least 50. I'm confident that today the weather's beautiful, we're fired up, we could easily get 75 to 100 each. But our minimum goal this weekend is 50 signatures. So before we send you out of here, we came up with a little theme song. Where's my crew? So, instead of salt and pepper, push it. We got RaiseUp Washington, sign it. RaiseUp Washington's here. RaiseUp Washington's here. RaiseUp Washington's here.
For everybody.
All you fly voters.
Get out there and sign. Sign, I said.
RaiseUp Washington's here and we're in effect. Want you to sign it back. 250,000 signers by June. We're working up a sweat. Come on, y'all. Let's go make sure Washington knows how to sign on the line and make sure wages grow. Now sign it. Sign it clear. So sign it real clear. Sign it clear. Sign it real clear. Out there, you got your clipboards, you got your pens, your posters. You're just looking for a voter, right? You gotta find somebody. When you see somebody, you might say something like, ooh, voter, voter. Ooh, voter, voter.
Yo, Washington voter, yeah, you come here and sign the sign. Better make it fast. Wages are on the decline. Can't you see we're gonna pass pay these so workers don't fear? Now sign it. Let's sign it real quick. Make sure you fill out your volunteer card. Sign up for a shift and grab your packet on the way out. Couldn't be that busy